on, y'all? It's Vannesia here, and thanks for coming back. We are going to be talking about 3 ways to negotiate a better job offer or a better client offer in this video. And this is something that it's all about negotiation. All right, so there are plenty of negotiation, tactics and best practices. So I'm not going to get too into the nitty gritty. You can Google that and figure that out. But I will tell you 3 things that has helped me be a better negotiator. As someone who owns their own business, negotiating is part of the game. I don't love it, but I know it's something that I have to do in order to get the clients that I want, and also to be able to create a nice partnership with those clients where each person feels valued. So we're going to jump right in because I'm actually recording this before I go to church and I can't be late for Jesus, okay? So the first step is to know what you want. Now, the reason I say that is because you don't want to be out here being desperate. I wrote a blog years ago that was called Be Hungry, Not Desperate, because when you're desperate, you'll take anything, right? You just want a chance. You just want an opportunity. But when you know what you want, then you're able to go in there level-headed and say, okay, I really want this deal. It doesn't mean that I don't want this deal or this job offer, but it doesn't mean that I'm just going to settle for anything. And there's a difference between actually making concessions and settling. Settling, you leave with this feeling of, oh, I just sold my soul. Now, some people say never concede, and that's their prerogative. But I believe that if I can get what I want and you can get what you want, even if we have to bend a little bit on both sides, that's not a bad thing. When you go into negotiations, you want to leave with what you want. Like, the goal isn't to go in there to concede, but knowing what you want will help you in the event that you do have to make a concession. Also, a tip with this too, especially if you're negotiating a better job offer, is to actually list out what you want in 3 different scenarios. So go good, better, best. And what that means is, like, your best is your top, your premium. This is what you want, no concessions. There's going to be, the creme de la creme, right? The better is something that, you may get, it's still good, it's still better than what you thought it was, but you may have to sacrifice something. And the good is kind of like your floor. Like, what is your lowest of the low? So you want to map those things out and actually take the time to do it for every single offer that you may get, which brings me into point number 2. So point number 2 is knowing what the other person wants. Now, knowing what the other person wants is super beneficial because then you know what they may be willing to make concessions on as well. You have to realize that they are taking their money and their time to put into you to yield a certain result, right? It's not personal. It's like, okay, what's going to give me the biggest bang for my buck? And you want to practice this. And I want to put a caveat right here. Practice negotiating with people that are outside of your area of expertise and maybe even be outside of your culture. For example, when I went to China, haggling and negotiating was part of the game. Like, they loved it, right? But one time I went a little too low on my negotiation and the vendor was not willing to budge. Also, I took a negotiation class in grad school with white males. Completely different tactic of negotiating, right? And the energy was different even when I was negotiating. So it made me a better negotiator because I've had these 2 experiences that were outside of my culture and even outside of my race that made me go in and say, okay, let me go in and try different tactics depending on who I'm negotiating with. You have to be able to know the environment, and knowing what that other person wants will help with that. And the last thing that you want to do is know what's comparable in your industry. It's very important for you to know what you want and also what the other person wants, but you want to make sure it's relative to the actual industry that you're in. And that's going to come from just doing some brief Google searches on things like Glassdoor and Monster to see what's comparable. And I want to give a shout out to my dad, shout out to my pops, who says, don't chase the money. When you get good, the money will chase you. And what he means by that is that there are a lot of things that are negotiable, right? So don't just think it's your salary. It could be your PTO. It could be your relocation package. It could be your tuition reimbursement program. It could be all these different things that you can negotiate. So don't just focus on the salary. You want to see what is comparable in that industry, because producing in tech is different than producing in Hollywood, right? Those are different budgets. So don't go in there asking for the moon if the moon isn't in the budget. You can do that, but it may not fare well. So make sure that you actually know what's going on and that you look look at the entire package. I talked about this in another video, but it's a perfect time to reiterate. Look at the entire package and don't just focus on the money. There may always be other things that you can do to supplement your income, but the package is really, really important. All right, y'all, I kind of rushed through this video because I am on my way to church. You're watching this on a Monday, but I actually recorded it on a Sunday. So there are so many other tools that talk about negotiation, get into the nitty gritty of it all. And one of those resources is Masterclass. I actually took the negotiation masterclass myself, and you know, you gotta chew the meat and spit the bones on it. But if you want to try Masterclass as well as get money for making an impact, you can go to Dear God, Are We There Yet? And we're gonna insert the plug right here. Dear God, Are We There Yet is a 501c3 organization that is a non-monetary volunteer community. They partner with Masterclass to offer micro grants to community leaders making an impact. If you would like to apply or donate towards the cause, go to deargodarewethereyet.com or also click the link in the caption or the description box below. All right, y'all, thanks so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Continue to have a fabulous rest of your week, and remember to always speak life. Peace.